All right, welcome you all to EdTech Tuesdays. Thank you all so much for joining me today. It's EdTech Tuesdays with ATIMS and friends, and I'm so glad to have one of my colleagues and friends who will be hosting this session today. By now, I think most of you, if you're on today, you received this booklet here, what I'm displaying now with EdTech Tuesdays with ATIMS and friends. And it's just a little bit about what's going on throughout the year. We have it planned for the year, at least the second Tuesday of each month. Besides this month, beginning in September, we will host 2 sessions. Every month after will be one, the second Tuesday of each month. And these are some of the other ATM colleagues that we have across the state within the region. We serve 11 regions across the state. If you're not familiar with who your ATM is, please reach out to me and let me know, or put it in the chat, and we'll make sure we connect you with that ATM within your region. As I stated, these are just a few. Most of you should have this particular booklet here, where it's displaying our learning directory, where we have at least 10 sessions that are going on. We even have 2 on AI. But today's topic is elevating teaching and learning with ViewSonic interactive digital whiteboard. And that will be hosted by Mr. Prothaniel Harris. Give him an opportunity to introduce himself. This will be done slightly different because most of the time when we're on Zoom, we're usually sharing our screen, but Mr. Harris will be displaying or showcasing the ViewSonic board live. So we'll have, what I would do is spotlight him so that his panel will be on everyone's screen. Okay. Without any further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started with today's sessions, Elevating Teaching and Learning with ViewSonic Interactive Digital Whiteboard. My name is Pernell Allen. I'm the Alabama Technology and Motion Specialist, housed at the University of Alabama at Birmingham, UAB. Go Blazers. And I am representing Region 5. But I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing right now. And I think what I would do, Mr. Harris, is spotlight yours. See if it'll let me spotlight once you turn that on for me. All right, and give me an opportunity to spotlight that. All right. Is everyone able to see Mr. Harris' screen? Can I get a thumbs up? Do you see the 2 ViewSonic boards? Up. Okay, I see thumbs
Yes.
up. All right, great. That's what we needed. Good. All right, Mr. Harris, it's on you. You're on mute right now. You're muted.
That's what happens when you work with 2 devices. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. We hear you now.
Okay. My name is Prothaniel Harris, Birmingham City Schools Technology Integration Facilitator. This is year 23 for me in education, and I'm still just as excited as I was when I was in the classroom a few years ago. I'm excited about what's happening here with my friend, former classroom parent. I taught his son, but just excellent go-to guy for technology. We've been talking and collaborating for years, but it does my heart good to see what God is doing for him in the area of technology. But I thank you, Mr. Allen, for this opportunity to represent here in Region 5. And I hope today you all have come with some excitement. Maybe you're new to the View board. Maybe you had them. Maybe you have an old one. Maybe you have a new one. Maybe you're new to the software. And what I hope to do today in the time that we have together is to focus on, try not to do too much, but I do want to zoom through just a few of the basic things, and then we'll dive into the main things. So if you will look over here, and before I start really talking about the tools, this is going to be the focus for today. So board hardware, the account that you have with it or might need with it, casting, and then we're going to spend the majority of the time in my whiteboard software. So what I want to do first is really just talk about the board hardware really quickly. That shouldn't take very long. And the reason why I have 2 boards up is because even in our district, we have some newer boards and we have some older boards, and the interface does not look the same. They still function the same, but I just wanted to share both. So what I'm going to start with here on the panel, and I'm going to stay on the side with the old, which is the old board over here. The new one is on that side. Of course, you're familiar with these things, but just to go through it really quickly, power button, home button. I want you to remember there's no place like home button, the back button here. And y'all may not be able to see. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit, and then I'll zoom back out. Okay. So power button, home button, the back button, these are the settings. Then you have your volume here. You have 3 USB ports on the board. I'm not going to go to the side and show you the side, but I have unfolded the antenna here, just so you'll know, the small antenna represents the Wi-Fi card for the Android board. All right, that's the Wi-Fi card. If those antenna are broken or missing, you're going to have struggles with your Wi-Fi, particularly with the board in general. Then these two large antenna for our district, we have slot-in PCs. So there's a PC added to this. But just so you know, these are just large Android tablets. These are large Android tablets. And so on the side, if you have to, in an emergency, connect with wires. There are multiple HDMI ports. There are USB touch ports for you to plug into so that you can connect to the board with a wire. But today I'm going to show you how to cast. We are in the 21st century and they have improved the technology and you can cast wirelessly. I know in the past, some of it was unreliable. We still have some issues, but for the most part, the ability to cast has become a lot more reliable. While I'm here, I'm going to press the home button for both boards. I'm going to show you the difference between the two. I said there's no place like home. Anytime you press the home button, whether you press it here on the front, and I'm going to come to the middle. I'm going to zoom back out. I forgot. I zoomed in, y'all. My apologies. All right. Zoom back out. Show both boards. There's no place like home. So you can press the home button here on either board. But what I want to do is show you all, try to model as much as I can as I go through. On each board, there's an arrow. This is the O board, the arrow here, right? There are a set of tools on that board. I'm going to flip-flop to this side. The same is true here. Let me move these. I'll leave it there. I'll just move this arrow down or up so you can see it. But that is a set of tools. And for either board, those tools sit on top of everything. So whether you're on the Android side, whether you're on the PC side, those tools, if you've ever had a Promethean board, when we used to do desktop annotate, these tools allow you to annotate over top of anything. Doesn't matter which side you're on. And again, the little arrow on the side, and there's an arrow on either side of the board, whatever your preference is. If you want to use the left side or the right side, they're the same tools. But I just wanted to show you all that before we go home. There's no place like home. As a matter of fact, while I'm in here, there are a few cool tools you might use that you can need to pull up something really quickly. Right here, if you tap on the 3 dots, there's more. It's a little different on the old one. On the old one, you hit the wrench and screwdriver, but it gives you additional tools. Older software, newer software. So here we go. You can freeze the screen. Let's go back in. You have a spotlight tool. If you just want to focus on a certain area, all right, that's the spotlight tool. Close. Back into more. There's a stopwatch and a timer, which is why what a lot of people use once I've shared this with them. But there's a timer there. And again, this sits on top of anything, whether you're on the PC side or on the Android side of the board. You can take a screenshot here as well. If you have the newer board, and let's say, I'm going to make it disappear, you don't see your arrows on the side. All you need to do is get as close to the side as you can and swipe out. The arrow comes out. That's only going to be temporary unless you go into the menu or more. And right here, you want to turn that back on so that it remains visible. Are y'all able to see pretty good? Can I get a head nod, a thumbs up? You able to see pretty clearly? Okay. Just want to make sure. All right. So on both boards now, I'm going to go home. I'm going to hit the house. I want you to see the difference in the two boards, right? This is an older board, and it just happens to be mine. I got the hand-me-down, but it still works, so I'm good. This is an older board. This is the newer board. The interfaces are different. On the new board, the apps sit in a window, and the remaining apps hit the drop down arrow and they're below for you. On the old board, just in case you have one, the apps sit on this arc, and then the remaining apps are here. While we're here also, on the bottom left side of the board, you have network, or if you're using Ethernet, you have Wi-Fi, and you have this Windows symbol, which switches you to the PC side. The same is true on this board. So again, they function the same. This is just an older board. While we're here also, I'm going to talk to you about an account you may or may not have yet. Yeah, let me go ahead and I'm going to go to VCast on both boards. If this is your first time using the board and you want to cast to your board, if you have a Mac, it doesn't, for the VCast, it does not matter what type of device you have. Back a little bit. For VCast, it doesn't matter what type of device, whether it's Windows or Mac. You want to go here, and at the bottom it says tap here for first use. So you want to tap here. And any browser you desire to use, you want to go to that browser and you're going to put this exact address in as it is. If Chrome doesn't work for you, try Firefox or try Edge. But what it's going to do, it's going to take you to a website. It's going to ask you for a 6-digit code. It's going to ask you for a 6-digit code, which is what's on the board. And this is going to give you a list of software options. If you have a Mac, you're going to choose Mac OS. If you have Windows, you'll choose the Windows software. And then you will download that, and it will install, or you will install VCast Sender. This is VCast Receiver, right? That's what we're in right now. We're in VCast Receiver on both boards. There are some slight differences in both. One says Viewboard Cast. This is older. The other one says VCast, which is a newer board. I'm going to move on. And Mr. Allen stopped me if they have a question. So what I want to do now, and I want to share this with you all real quick while I'm on here. I'm going to share screen. Well, I'm already sharing screen where I'm going to cast from my iPad. If you have an iPad, if you have a MacBook and you want to share screen, it is compatible, just like you would cast to an Apple TV. It has AirPlay, or they call it screen mirroring now. But I'm going to show you what happens when you go to cast. So I'm going to pull down my control center. I'm going to go to screen mirror. Now, if you're in a school, most likely you're going to get a list of devices, and all of them are going to look like that second option. It's going to say cast dash some 4-digit number, and most teachers try to figure out which one of those numbers belong to their board. I'm going to show you how to rename your board today. Okay. Again, this is where you go to cast. I'm going to come back to casting in just a second, but I'm going to show you how to rename your board really quickly. It's very simple. We're going to go to settings. Now I'm going to zoom in on one particular board, and then I'll zoom back out. Let's go here.
And I'm glad you're showing that, Mr. Harris, because that was one of the questions. What if you didn't know which board was yours? So I'm glad you're showing this option right now.
Great, great. And a lot of teachers they couldn't. They were trying to figure it out. They wanted to, but they didn't know how to locate their device. All you do is go to settings, where it says device name. Tap on the pencil. If you tap in that blank a second time, it actually gives you an on-screen keyboard. And for today's session, I'm going to erase Dr. Plump's name. I'm going to put mine. If yours is not checked, you want to check this box that says pin code visible. What that does is, you see this code in the top left corner, I'm sorry, top right corner here. If I uncheck that box, that code doesn't appear. What this does, it keeps you from having to go all the way into the VCast receiver to get the code. So I'm going to show you what I mean. So I'm going to go back home. I've renamed my device, P. Harris. My pin code is visible. Now I'm going to go home. There's no place like home. When I go back to my home screen, I want you to notice that the code is still in the top right corner. Once you download the VCast Sender software, when you open VCast Sender, it's going to ask you for a 6-digit code. That code, whenever you press the home button, will always, once you rename your device and you check that box that says pin code visible, anytime you hit the home button, no matter where you hit the home button, it's going to take you to the Android side, and that pin code will be there in the top right corner. Now, it can be moved. So this is the newer board, so you can't move it. But this keeps you from having to go to the home screen and then going into VCast. It's the same code. Okay. I'm going to go back home. The code is still there. Any questions about renaming the board? And for those of you who may be interested, you can actually cast up to 4 devices to the board at once. All right. So now what I wanted to do, I'm going to pull back real quick. I'm going to open the My Whiteboard software here. Now, notice the difference between the two. I'm opening the software on my old board on the Android side. All right, that's the Android side. I'm going to open it on a new board on the PC side. Right, you have the software on both sides of the board. In my opinion, and I've worked with them for a little bit now, the one on the PC side functions faster. Okay. If you look at the writing on the right, it's more granular. I hate to use the word pixelated, but it reminds you when you can see that when you stretch a picture too much and it begins to pixelate. So the writing right here is not as smooth as it is over here. Just showing a few differences in the two sides. Again, the software functions the same. Another huge difference with the software update, and I did fail to mention this, if you have a view board and you have a burgundy cloud that says the word "my" in it, your software needs to be updated. So that's the oldest version. All right. The last, I'm going to go back home on this board.
Mr. Harris, real quick, while
Yeah.
you had one question before you get too far away. It says, when casting from the laptop, does the touch work wirelessly? Will they be able to use the touch when they're casting from a laptop?
So with VCast, yes. And I will say this, it's still a little wonky, but it does work.
Okay, thanks.
So yeah, with VCast Sender, yes. So the old software, now this is not the software, I've updated this software, but this is the symbol that most of the boards that have been issued recently or been purchased recently, they have that symbol on it with the little cloud on it. So that is even behind as well. This is the latest version of my whiteboard. So if you have the old one that just has that little cloud with my in it, or if you have the next one up above that, which has a whiteboard with my cloud on the side, did not do that. Go home. But if you have with the whiteboard and a little cloud in there, that also needs to be updated. I'm going to show you why you want to update that. So I'm going to go back to this software. And I want you to note on the left side, I pointed down to the bottom left corner. It says backgrounds and participants. Over here, On that side, this is the Android side, it does not have participants. This is the Android side, does not have participants. On the PC side, it does when you update to the latest software. I'm going to show you what that is. Okay. What I'm going to do now is go through how to cast. So I want to put my laptop in front of my iPad. And so I'm going to cast. I'm going to show you there are 3 different ways. There are 3 ways to cast. The 2 most reliable ways is technology. You'll say something's reliable and it won't work. If you have anything Mac, iPhone, iPad, MacBook, even if you have an iMac desktop, you can cast to the board using AirPlay. So I'm going to start with AirPlay. So I'm going to go to my control center. Let me zoom in on my MacBook a little bit. I'm trying to allow you to see my MacBook and the boards. Okay. Can y'all see my control center here?
I see head nods. Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. So I go to control center. I'm going to go to screen mirror. I want you to notice the names that pop up. I renamed that board at the top of the list, P. Harris. That's where I renamed the board. That will leave no question to whose board you are casting to, because if you change it to, your name will appear in that list. So I'm going to connect here. It's going to ask me for a code. If you look on the screen on the left, the code appears on the screen. I put the code in. And so now I'm casting to the new board on the left using, let me zoom out a little bit, using AirPlay. I use AirPlay to cast to the new board. All right. I'm going to do that one more time. Actually going to reverse the process. I'm going to stop. And I'm going to go back in. So I'm going to go to Control Center, Screen Mirror, choose the device. And once you name it, you'll know which one's yours. Code appeared on the screen, 8470. 8470. Okay. Every now and then, this is technology. It will not cooperate. But you put that code in. There we go. And so now I'm casting to the new board. I'm going to connect to the old board also, but I'm going to use VCast. That's what you're going to go and download. So if you have a Mac, this is what VCast looks like. The symbol is the same for everyone, for either device. Let me zoom in on that real quick. But this is VCast Sender. That's what you're going to do when you go to the home screen. Tap at the bottom where it says first time use. You're going to go to a web search engine, web browser. You're going to put that address in there exactly as is. Put the code in, that 6-digit code, and then it's going to allow you to download VCast Sender. So I'm already casting using AirPlay on the board on the left. So I'm going to zoom back out. Now I'm going to cast to the board on the right using VCast Sender. So it's asking for the 6-digit code. And if you look up in the corner, I don't have to go into VCast receiver because I selected pin code visible. So all I need to do now is put that code in, VK9B00. I left something out, VK9, I left the B out, 00. I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to cast. So I just want to know, you all should see my Mac on both screens.
You just stopped sharing. It just went out. It was showing, but it went out for some reason.
Okay, let me go back. Let me stop share, share again.
Yeah, it was displaying both from the VCast as well as the mirror.
Okay.
Both board was functioning properly. It's just stopped.
Is it shared again? Am I back up?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Up here, share content, screen, and start broadcast. Okay. I think it's coming back up.
Yes, sir. It's coming up.
Okay.
There it is.
I'm casting on the left side using AirPlay. That's the Apple's way of casting. But on the left, I'm sorry, but on the right side on the old board, I'm using VCast receiver. So I'm casting to both boards at the same time using different methods. What I'm going to exit on the right side. I'm going to disconnect. And I want you to see this as well. So I'm let me go back up, get full screen. So on my dock, I'm going to go to VCast, and I want to disconnect. And I want you to notice that the right side is still casting. I'm sorry, the left side is still casting, but the right side is now back on the view board. So I'm going to go to the home screen. And on the home screen, I'm going to go to these additional apps. I'm going to go to display. This is another way to cast to the board. To cast using this, I'm going to go to Chrome. Thought I already had it pulled up, but no problem. I'm going to go to myviewboard.com/display. So it looks like it's the same, but the one on the left is actually showing my computer. The one on the right is telling me what I need to do. The display code does not expire. I used it earlier, but the password is temporary, and you have 30 seconds to put it in, or else it'll give you a new. It just keeps recycling passwords. So 7052, and then I'm going to hit next. I'm going to select my entire screen, and then I'm going to share. So what you're seeing on both screens now is my laptop. What I'm going to do, well, either way, it's going to mirror. I'm going to come out of AirPlay. I'm going to continue to screen mirror using display on the right side. So now on the right side, I'm still mirroring or casting using my viewboard display. On the left side is back on the viewboard software. Any questions about casting? So I've shown you VCast. I've shown you AirPlay, and I've also shown you my viewboard display. Is there a question about either of those?
So is it a benefit of using one or the other? Is what the question was that just popped up.
If you not necessarily, if you have students you want your students to display something, my viewboard display is one way you could do that. There are other ways the students can join your class, but that's not necessarily any benefit. Whichever one works, I say is working at the time. Because with technology, sometimes you have issues with one or the other. But generally, I use VCast Sender so that I can have the touchability at the board, even though I'm casting from my MacBook. But they all work.
And so the next question, thanks for that, Mr. Harris. I apologize. It said, will the code remain on the board if the power is off and device turned back on? Would the display be on as well?
Which display are we talking about? Like
We're
my
talk-
viewboard display?
No, not like the code. They're talking about the code. I guess once you click that checkbox, yeah, that code there, would that be displayed once you turn the board off and back on?
So that code always changes. There will always be a new 6-digit code.
But would it automatically display at the top?
It should. Now,
Yes.
that's a good question. So I'm going to show you something that's probably going to, let me go on this side. So I'm going to go, there's no place like home. Sometimes if you come to the screen, I'm demonstration because we've had this issue to happen. I turned the Wi-Fi off. Now, if you look in the top right corner now, you see a bunch of dashes, right? That's because Wi-Fi, if the Wi-Fi is not connected, you get nothing. You get no 6-digit code. If that issue arises, the first thing you want to do, go home, check Wi-Fi. If there's an X at the bottom, tap that, turn it on. And once it turns on, it should connect to the network that you are already using. If it does not, beneath the bottom of the board, right next to this power cable is the main switch. Turn it off, wait 5-10 seconds, turn it back on, and you should have your Wi-Fi. It should be back up and running. I'm going to go back in. So the code already appeared for me. So I don't have to go back in VCast, but just so you can see it. And it also changed the code again. So that code changes every time you open it up. Are we good to move on?
Yes, sir.
All right. What I'm going to do while so if you look on my screen now, you're looking at my MacBook, but the screen over there on the right is not responding. Sometimes my display does not necessarily cooperate, and that's okay. I'm going to go home. Yep. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you, go to my ViewBoard software, and now I'm going to focus on one board. I'm going to stay on the new board for the most part now because I want to get into the software. And one of the reasons why I told you about let me open it up. PC. Pointed down in the corner, you want to update your software because you get this really cool feature that allows multiple participants at the board at once. So I'm going to start with that. Open that up real quick. And this is a feature that comes with the update. There you go. Technology. Wonderful.
Always.
Reopen.
While Mr. Harris is troubleshooting you all, I'm going to place something in the chat. And what I just placed in the chat is also the brochure or the booklet to EdTech Tuesdays with ATIMS and friends. And also Tim Talks. It's a podcast that we started to keep educators across the state informed about the different initiatives that the state is pushing out. So if you get an opportunity, please take a listen as well as join us on some more EdTech Tuesdays. Again, September, we'll be hosting 2, which is today and next week, which will be on Blue-It. So if you're looking for a way to gamify lessons, this is a creative way to gamify your lessons in the classroom. All right.
Software is back up. Let's see if it's running. But if you would note here, it allows up to 6 participants at the board at once. I'm going to click OK here. Yeah, something's going on with the software. So no problem. I'm going to switch to, and that's the new board. So let's see if the old board is a little bit more reliable. Same software, but it's technology. And so these things happen. Don't give up on it. Try it again. Turn it off. Turn it back on.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've never seen this thick black line come up before. So maybe that's they're updating or something. I'm not sure, but it's just a glitch or an issue that they'll resolve. But this is a really cool feature, again, that each student will be at the board and will have their own color, and they can work at the board simultaneously. And if you notice, the green color doesn't cross over, it won't write on this. It's blue. All right. So you can have up to 6 at once. You can clean all the boards at one time, clear everything. But that's a cool feature that comes with the updated software. Again, you're going to look for, yeah, something's going on with my view board because it shut down on the other one as well. But you're going to look for that icon, the yellow cloud with the pencil or pen.
And and I think that was a couple of questions where it says, can you show how to get there again, and how do you update to get that icon?
All right. So the question about how you get where want to go,
So they
how
want
to
to
get
see
where.
how do you get to the point where you can have multiple students at the board at once, and then
Okay.
and then that following that question is how do you update to for that icon to be visible?
All right. So when you open the software, once you have updated it, it will be right here. Now, most of the times, and I know in our district, they do send updates, but technology is always updating. And so sometimes if you come in these settings, come here, you're going to tap on this eye. And right here, you can update the software. If that doesn't do it for you, and what I've been doing, now I know it depends on your school district and the security that they have in place. Sometimes they don't allow you to update stuff. It just depends. But what I do, I will I go to myviewboard.com. If you go to myviewboard.com, that's where all of the resources are. I don't know if it's my internet, maybe. But I'm going to do, I'm going to type it. Oh, it looks like I'm having some internet issues. And the next thing I was going to show you is actually going to be on their website as well. You have, if you don't have an account, I know in our district we have an entity account. Anything premium or entity gives you access to additional features. I'm going to open the software on this board. And what I'm going to attempt to do, I'm going to attempt to take you to all of this through the Whiteboard software itself. While we're here, I need you at some point to go to settings and get the My Companion app. All right. Get the My Companion app. and I'm going to show you why. I'm going to go through a couple things to show you why. All right, I want to exit this real quick, but just again, that's in settings, hit app. You can scan whichever device you have to take you to the store to get what you need, and you want to download that. And what you're going to do, you're going to connect that to the account that you either have or that you create online. So what I'm going to do without leaving the My Whiteboard software, I'm going to go to the browser. There's a built-in browser. And again, trying to maximize the time and model the things that you could do in the classroom with students. I'm not going to leave the software. I'm going to stay in the software. Right now, I'm at myviewboard.com. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove a couple of those slashes and some of that information so I can get to my viewboard and show you where to download. Oh, one too many. So when you come to my viewboard, I'll make it full screen so you can see. Okay. When you come to this website, I'm going to hit right here. Actually, it's different. It depends on, I'm not in a regular browser, but sometimes
Yes.
there's 3 lines. I'm sorry, you got a question?
Yes, sir. Where you pointing, it look like I don't know if it's from your camera or something that's blocking that image in that corner. It's
Oh, okay.
yeah, we can see a look. There you go.
Okay. Okay. So sometimes you'll see 3 lines, and either way, those 3 lines are going to provide you this list right here. So what you're going to do is get to download. You're going to go right here, and you're going to find, it's going to make me slide. So you're going to find the one for Windows, and you're going to download that, or whatever device you have, download that. And just so you know, there's no, unless you have a MacBook with the M1, M2 chip, they don't have a software package for the MacBook unless it's M1, M2. You can, because it functions, it loads apps like an iPad. But I can't do it on mine. But you can put the My Viewboard software on an iPad though. But that's where you go to get it, and you would download it there. I want you to notice while I'm here that the companion app is here as well. So again, myviewboard.com, everything is there. So what I'm going to do, and I really need to be on that board because that's my board and all my stuff is there, my accounts and my passwords, but I'm going to go back to the software, which I never did leave to my whiteboard. It looks like it, but I'm not on the web. I am, but I'm not in the browser. I'm still in the My Whiteboard software. I use the browser that's built into the software. I'm going to close that. So once I connect to my account, I'm going to show you my phone. So the My Companion app, it's the yellow cloud with the phone in it. So I signed into that account using my Viewboard account. So it's going to connect the two. What that does, it gives me access to the premium features that were purchased with our account. Without that, there are certain things you cannot use in the Whiteboard software because a standard plan does not provide. Technology people want you to pay for everything. They give you a few free things and then they want you to buy the rest. But let me run through these real quick. And this is where we're going to stay for the remainder of the time. So the myviewboard.com, you may have a Microsoft account. It might be set up with Microsoft. And mine just so happen to be set up with my Google account. And so what I did, I signed in to the My Companion app. And I'm going to show you really quickly, run through the tools. Here is where my profile is going to be when I sign in. Notifications, settings, and then these are the familiar things: minimize, resize, and exit. Every time here, these are your main tools. These are your navigation tools here. So these are the navigation tools, main tools. And we're going to spend some time on backgrounds. And I want y'all to remember backgrounds and magic box. You don't have to say it out loud, but at least think it in your head. Backgrounds, magic box. Okay, I need you to remember those two things. So really quickly, I'm going to, before I sign in, I'm going to go to the backgrounds here. It looks like 2 mountains or 2 triangles. So I'm going to open that. And what this does, it gives me access to some pre-selected backgrounds. I love geography, so I'm going to select this one. When you see apply to all pages, if you select that one, that becomes your default background. Every time you add a new page, it's going to be the 7 continents. But if you only want it on a single page, you select this page. So now it's only on this screen. And so if I go down here on my navigation toolbar and I add another page, it'll just be a white background. On the navigation toolbar, I'm going to tap on the slides. And so now I can see a thumbnail of the slides that I have. I have 2. One is of the 7 continents, and the other is the blank slide I just created. Back to backgrounds. Now, I'm pretty sure, depending on the grade level, you all see some things that kind of get you excited, and rightfully so, because they've done a really good job of bringing some things together. But when you have an account, they actually give you a whole lot more. So what I'm going to do, I love space science too, so y'all forgive me for adding another one. Cool stuff. I'm still hurt though, because some new experts came on the scene and took away one of my planets. I grew up with 9, and now they get to tell me I only have 8. But back, what I want to show you now, you can set your default as a color. So if you always want your background to be a certain color, you hit backgrounds and you'll select whichever color you want it to be. All right. I'm going to go to this parrot here. Now, I was doing a presentation and I didn't realize they updated the software. They were putting all of the backgrounds in there and allow you to choose by subject matter within the whiteboard, but they've added so many more backgrounds and now take you to the web. But I want you by subject matter: arts and humanities, calendar, geography, grids, health, holidays, lines, math. And I know from the lower grades, I did a session with a teacher. She was doing her stuff on the calendar, the morning routine. But you can go here, hit the holidays, and somewhere in there should be some calendars. But as you can see, there are tons. And you all were coming up on fall holidays, Halloween, and things of that nature, Thanksgiving. And so you can go through and select a background. You see what it says on the screen?
Yes, sir.
I didn't sign in for this reason. I wanted you to see, because certain backgrounds and certain features only, and right now it just says sign in. Some of those backgrounds come with a certain level of accounts in. And just so you know, I'm in the My Companion app. Let me come out of here. When I go into My Companion app, I'm going to choose this QR code reader. Right down here in the bottom right corner, tap on that little image. There's my QR code. I'm going to scan in. I mentioned to you before that my profile is going to appear up here. So there I am. I do not want to stay signed in because this is not my board, but I want you to
I hit
notice
that
now.
button. It didn't give me a QR code. It just shows like the word entity and my name.
Entity in your name. Does it say activate? It might need to be activated.
And you have another question too, Mr. Harris, saying that when they try to go to their backgrounds, it goes away quickly. Is there a way to make them stay up a little longer so that they can select it?
I'm not sure. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm not sure why it's doing that. I'm not sure. So right, like when they do this,
I'm imagining that you let me know with a thumbs up.
If you can look, I think I have mine showing on the screen, and that's all that comes up is just my name and entity.
Well, stick with us a little bit, Kerry, so he can
Yeah,
continue, and then we'll check it out.
yeah.
If you have time, stick around with us and give him an opportunity to finish, and then we'll look at it.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's forcing me to sign back in. So let me go back to this and try again. Now that oh, you know what? I'm not signing into my stuff online because this is not my board. Yeah, okay. I was trying to figure out, you know what? I just saw what I was looking for. Calendar. And what I'm going to do to avoid any further delay, just pick one I can get. All right. So I'm going to apply high quality. Same option. Do I want to apply to all pages of this page? But before I do that, I want to keep my planets. All right. So I want to keep my butterfly. So now that I've signed in, and I want you to notice the difference. I forgot to do this, and I did sign in before. I have the life cycle of a butterfly as my default background. So whenever I sign in, I'm going to see the butterfly, the egg, larva, pupa, and adult. So I'm going to put a clean one in there just so I can work with it. Apply to this page. Now I'm going to apply to this page, the calendar, hopefully. There we go. And so now that's the background. Students can't manipulate that. I didn't mean to do that either. Okay. But those are the backgrounds. Remember the backgrounds. Go in there and play around with the backgrounds. Again, the ones that are there now are pre-selected. When you have an account, they give you more. If you have a premium or entity account, there's even more. Yeah, the whiteboard is working on that side now. So what I want to do, because my stuff, again, having an entity account allows me to see and show you all more. What I'm going to do, I'm going to switch screens real quick. And if it does not cooperate, we'll go back. Now, I'm online. And what I want to show you when you sign into your account, when I scanned in using my phone, I connected to this account. And I want you to notice, remember I was on that board and my name appeared in the top left corner. It connected me to my online account. So here is how come or why the butterflies came with me. If you look on that screen, I have that set as my default background. And I was trying not to get too much into a lot of these things. On this list also, which I'm going to show you when we go back into the software, cloud integration. I'm connected to OneDrive. I'm also connected to my Google Drive. So if you have some slides that you created that you want to share with your students, if you have some docs or spreadsheets or whatever it is, even some images in Google, if you integrate it right here, once you sign into your account, you can connect your Google Drive. I was trying to stay in the software. Yeah, I'm really jealous, you all, because I didn't have this when I was in the classroom. I wish. But hopefully, and I try not to get caught up on all the things that you have available to you. But you want to sign into your account, get the My Companion app, connect that account to the app to your online account. And that way, when you scan in, you have access to all the stuff that's in your account. Okay. Now I'm going to come out and hopefully the software is working on this board now. But if not, we'll switch back.
You have 5 minutes, Mr. Harris.
Switching back then.
Mhm.
All right. So everybody, I want you to remember backgrounds and I want you to remember the magic box. I'm going to go into the magic box now. So with your navigation tools, you can move. As a matter of fact, it generally follows your main toolbar. You can put it at the top. You can put it on the left, at the bottom, or the right. I'm just going to put it at the top for now. And so my navigation tools tend to follow. All right. Let me get a clean slate because magic box.
Hello, I have inadvertently deleted my side arrows. How do I get them back?
Tap on it, just slide and bring it out. And when it comes out, find the 3 dots and look at the circle with the cross on it at the bottom. Tap it and it should come back out for you. So there's so much in here, you all. We're gonna have to do a second part, but I want to go ahead and dive into the magic box. So I talked about the backgrounds, magic box, background. Remember the two. Play with these two, if nothing else. In the magic box, you have wonderful math tools. These are actually live tools. They look like they're 2D or whatever, but when you drag them onto the screen, they actually work. You have a spotlight tool. You have a timer. You have a clock. You have the coordinate plane or the coordinate grid. You have a compass. So these are all wonderful tools that are in here. Also in the magic box, now I don't have a webcam on my board, but you can record your screen, pre-record lessons, right? You have YouTube here. You can search videos. You have images that you can search. And what's cool about this is with these features, and I have not left the software. I'm still in the Whiteboard software. I didn't have to go out to go to YouTube. All of it's right here in the magic box. So I have lions. I can just grab this lion and drag it to my screen.
Show us.
Again, magic box. These two at the top. I went to the image. Hope I'm spelling it correct. Hyenas. Put y'all the Lion King together in just a second.
I can't see what the magic box that you're clicking on. I can't see what icon you're clicking on.
Okay, let
Me
me zoom in
either.
for you real quick.
It's a little lag, I think, too.
Yeah,
Okay.
now we can see it.
You see that? It's the box with
Yes,
the blue
now
toys in it.
now I can see it. Yes.
That's the magic box. And so once you have the images in there, you're free to manipulate and do whatever you want with it. You can resize them. You can put together a whole scene if you like. I want to do something for lower grades that I really enjoy helping my cousin with something because she's a teacher. But when I was in the classroom, the Promethean board has something that's called drag a copy. And if you have kids counting money, go to my tools real quick. I'm going to get a circle. I'm going to draw my quarter. I'm going to fill it in. I guess I can make it gray. Since it's going to be a quarter, I'm not going to worry about the outline. So anything you want to make copies of, put it where you want it to fit. This icon right here looks like paste or copy, but it's not. It's drag a copy. It has the 4 arrows on top of it. So I'm going to tap that. And now this is drag a copy. Anytime I grab it, it's going to make me another one. Oh, and also note, whatever you select as a tool, if you don't go back to selector, it's going to keep doing whatever that tool is. So if you're making shapes, every time you touch something, if you don't change to the selector tool, you're going to keep making shapes. So make sure you go back to the selector tool and now make all the quarters you want. This is a good way to get rich. So just go ahead and just no counterfeit money. Real dollar bills. Don't be trying to copy. But no, this is the drag a copy feature. And to turn it off, you simply touch it. And now it's a regular circle.
A couple of questions too, Mr. Harris. Within that,
let's
it
take questions.
says, yes, sir. It says, what happened? It said, would there happen to be anywhere online that they can get a how-to guide other than YouTube videos with some of the things that you've shown or available information that may be out there other than YouTube videos?
Check the chat.
Say it again.
Check the chat. I just dropped I created it's the Viewboard stuff. It's their videos, but I called it tutorials. So it's a Google slide of the video tutorials for ViewSonic.
Okay. And it was a follow-up to the other question I asked you about the backgrounds. It says they're able to select the background. It lets them pick a background, but it doesn't stay on before a short period of time. It seems to black out for some reason. So once they select the background that they want, it seems to black out.
That sounds like maybe download the software again and let it reinstall it.
Okay.
But yeah, that doesn't sound. I hadn't heard that one, but
And then I know we had that's probably most of our time. I don't want to stop you
okay.
because, but I know that's actually our time for those who
Yep.
need to jump off. You got some thank yous in there, but I do know Carrie wanted to show you something that she was having on her computer with her ViewSonic board. And
Okay.
anyone else, if you would like to stay on with us, please feel free to do so. But at this time, this concludes our session. Thank you all for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for your time and attention. I hope it's been helpful.
Oh yeah,
Have
you
a
got
great
some
school
thank
year.
yous in there. Yeah, that's good.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And so I think it was it anything else? So this was excellent professional development. So good to hear that.
Yes.
Will that be another recap?
Yeah, and looked like we will have to because like he said, we had a little lag and then this was only short. We was doing this short just to put it out there. But yes, we will have to follow up. We'll put a impromptu out there and I would definitely send everyone who was a part of this meeting a special invite to that. We'll collaborate with Mr. Harris, see what his schedule is like and make sure that happens.
Absolutely.
And Miss Carrie, I think she wanted to show hers, and I'm gonna give permission on that
Okay.
so she can share her screen when you stop.
Oh, let me come out. Oh, I'm trying to do it on my Mac. Let me get off. I'm gonna on my iPad.
All right, Miss Carrie, you want to
There we
show
go.
us what you was trying to show us?
So I'm not like on my laptop and my whiteboard is like next to me. So I was going to just show you
Okay.
my camera if you can see it. So mine just says that my entity and then
Can you see that, Mr. Harris?
yes,
I
that's
do.
mine. It doesn't bring me up a QR code.
Do you have access to the features? Can you go to the magic box for me and see if you can access those features? Because it may be your
So I
district
do
may have it
have
set up.
those features on there.
Can you
So I
get
can,
do me a favor, click on since you have an entity account, click on that pop quiz one, the starburst.
Starburst. That one?
Uh-huh.
And it brings
Oh
up
yeah.
the split thing.
So it just may look different from ours, but if that was not working, it would say you have to have a premium or entity account. So it looks like you're good.
Okay. And and then on the bottom of this, it does have a QR code. That's weird.
That's different now. So that's for them to
different.
that's for students to join your session.
Okay. Well, or and then if I do the My Companion app on my phone, if I don't have a QR code, how do I link them together?
You might just have to sign in like you're doing, because I'm not sure why that's not showing up though.
Okay.
Uh,
I've seen the QR code there before, so that's why I was thinking it was weird that all of a sudden it didn't give me that option. Maybe if I
Maybe it needs
reset
to
everything,
update
it'll
us. Yeah,
show up.
yeah. It might need to be updated or something.
All right, I will do that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I need to know more. I'm so computer illiterate. But thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Do we have any more questions? Do you
So
want
when
us?
you pulled up the magic box, I don't have all of the options that you do. Is that because it's a different level that we have?
Could be. So do you have an account or do you know?
I have no idea. Look, I have no idea. So when I pull mine up,
Mm.
oh, sugar, can you see it?
Yes, ma'am.
I know I got a bunch of other stuff up, sorry. But that's all I have right there.
So the only thing that's missing that maybe try to are you signed in?
Okay, so that was my next question. So this little where it has the little thing you have to put in like your email address and everything
Yes.
to
Ma'am.
do that? Okay, I haven't done that yet, so I bet that's it.
See if that gives you more options.